let's talk about the team that hurt Kuldeep. We're talking about the Knight Riders. Joy will now tell us that he's going to be. Oh, that's right. Oh wait, let's just sit back. I've got my cup of tea as well. And Joy will now tell us.
I just want to tell you one thing.
Chai.
This year, the Knight Riders have been the most democratic team in the league. Okay. They've had 25, 26 players. They managed to play 21 of them.
Yeah.
21 players.
That's it. Seemed like they played everybody. No, they did. There's still some guys left out. Oh, okay.
There are a few guys left out, but they got very close. I think that was the one thing. This side just kept, injury might have had some part to play in it, but you have to say the biggest problem that Kolkata had was chopping, changing. They never had a settled outfit. They just never had a settled outfit. And it's a pity because, again, this is a team with a lot of match winners. And one of the things that really they should have capitalized on the fact that Sunil Narayan has had a vintage season. It's a season like 2012 or 14. Economy rate of 5.57 in this tournament when you're playing 14 matches is absolutely outstanding. He was just superb. Varun Chakravarti was off, but what Sunil Narayan has done, what Andre Russell has given them, these guys should have ended up higher. They should have ended up
This point of playing so many games, of making so many changes, the real interesting thing about that is, if you make so many changes and you reach somewhere in the end which is completely different from where you started, you say you're evolving. But if you pretty much come back to where you started, you're just thinking, what? That was a really long route to take to get back to where I started from. Because their last 11 just had 2 changes from their first 11, which was Rinku in for Mavi and Tomar in for Rahane, and Rahane was injured anyway. So actually it's just kind of one change, right, that you're thinking, which is Rinku, who you were not playing, who was fantastic towards the end, almost won them that game, the last game, if it wasn't for that Lewis-inspired catch in the end. But that's what they did. And sorry, Harsha, you were I think talking about Narayan and Russell.
Narayan is we talk about goats a lot. Narayan is not just a goat. Narayan is the entire farm.
That's right.
Sunil Narayan.
Before people think you're calling him Bakri, it's greatest of all time. That's goat. Just for all those of you who are not millennials like us. Yeah, greatest of all time.
Every year we think, Sunil Narayan is past it maybe. And year upon year upon year, he delivers. He's the postman. If there are
he's the postman.
All you guys from your parents' age like mine, when there's your postman delivering admission letters to you and you waited for him to come. But Sunil Narayan, Andre Russell, they are just outstanding players. Now see the structure of their side. They've got Cummins or Southey. That's 3 places filled. Yeah. Now where is their other overseas player that they wanted to play? They needed an opener. I think their best team was to play Southey and Cummins both together, and that would have changed their bowling lineup completely. But because they didn't buy a keeper, they used 3 different wicket keepers and never discovered at the end of the season they're no wiser to knowing who their keeper is.
Yeah.
And that was the one structural defect. Sometimes you say ghar pura theek bana hai, udhar pillar thoda weak tha ek.
Yeah.
A wicket keeper is not a key whatever, but that was a little structural defect that caused all the turmoil. Should I play Jackson? But where do I play Jackson? Okay, let me play Billings. But where do I play Billings? But if I play Billings, I can't play somebody else. Oh, okay. What do I do now? Then where do I play Venkatesh Iyer? And because of that, that started the turmoil, I think, in that KKR side. They've also got to look back and say, is Nitish Rana my match winner at number 4? Or is he going to be someone who'll go through a season, he'll have done okay, but at the end of the season, you say, Acha, was he there?
Yeah.
He's maybe made 300 runs, 350 runs, but was he there? I'm more impressed with Rinku Singh.
Yeah.
He's hungry. There's something about Rinku Singh. He's always 7, 8 plus, 10 plus in the field. But if Rinku Singh can become that number 5 for them on a regular basis with Russell at 6, then those are the green shoots that we talked about with Mumbai. I think those are the green shoots with KKR. They've got to figure out what Venkatesh Iyer's role is. And I have a lot of time for Varun Chakravarti, but they've got to figure out whether he's got more in those legs.
Yeah, well, literally. Joy, if we just talk about a quick word on Andre Russell, because this guy was just, he was all over the opposition like a rash.
He's an ox, not a goat.
Yeah, and again, match-winning knocks, match-changing knocks. He was absolutely fantastic. And 335 runs, it tells you the position he's batting in. He's batting at 6. I mean, how many
Yeah.
other batsmen at 6 are getting those kind of runs? And that's what's absolutely outstanding about him. Also, he's given you more. I mean, the one thing that we were all worried about, he injures himself because his upper body is just so strong that he tends to injure himself. He was injury free. He gave them overs as well. There was
17.
I mean, he was the complete package. I mean, had a couple of other people just put up their hands, had Rinku Singh played a bit earlier, had that match, had Chahal not devastated them with that hat-trick in that match. And the only one thing I'd say is that for all this that they went down with them, I mean, Andre Russell ending with 17 wickets is just amazing given, what they expected out of him. My biggest thing is that at least they ended with a very brave show. I think the last match they played the kind of cricket. I think McCullum embodied that cricket as a coach himself, and I think in his last game as Kolkata's coach, they gave them that kind of innings. They fell just a little bit short, but that was perhaps one of the bravest charges I've seen. Everyone coming in, from a Rinku Singh to a Sunil Narayan, each and every one of them swung their bat, and how well they played.
We talked early on about Ritesh Rana. I think the other structural problem was Shivam Mavi. They expected, if Shivam Mavi had done as well as we know he can, then this Southie Cummins issue would not have come. But you see how many times Shivam Mavi plays one day gone, plays one day gone, plays one day gone. All those changes that you talked about, if Shivam Mavi had been that Indian pacer, already we are talking about 13, 14 Indian pacers and we are not talking about Shivam Mavi.
Yeah.
So I think that was the other big factor.
Yeah, so for the Knight Riders, lots to correct next season. I guess first they have to find a coach. That's right. They got to look for a coach. So we'll be eagerly awaiting what that decision is. And the captain, well, what happens with the captain? Is he still? Yeah, I guess he's still going to be the captain, right? Right? He was good.
I think we discovered that Shreyas Iyer, all the hype around his captaincy, he's good, but he's work in progress as a captain.